day, family. God bless you. It's the time you've been waiting for. Senior Talk with Claire Hubbard. That's right, your resource and information show for people getting better with age. Well, we are in high impact season in Illinois. For guess what? Illinois primary is coming up March 17th in Illinois, the state of Illinois. And one of our candidates is with us today who has decided that she wants to address why senior votes matter. That's one of our platforms. And we are so acknowledged and so grateful to have her with us today. Let me tell you, her name is Natalie Howse. She is busy. She has a plethora of she has a whole, how do I say it, a whole career worth of stuff. I don't know why she's running out because she got so much she's doing, but we're going to ask her that question. And she took the time to share her time with us today to bring her platform of her running for a judicial candidate right now to our platform. So welcome her to Senior Talk with Claire Hubbard. Welcome. How are you this afternoon or this beautiful day?
I am doing very good. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much, for allowing me to come and talk about my campaign and the reason why I'm running and why the judicial ballot is so important in this day and age. So I just really wanted to say thank you. I'm so glad that I was connected to you by Patrick Brutus. Just really grateful and thankful for this, and really looking forward to talking to your voters about my campaign.
Absolutely. We love Patrick. Thank you, Patrick.
Yes.
We love you, Patrick. Happy belated birthday.
That's right. That's
That's right,
right.
belated. So let me ask you this. I read your bio and it is lengthy, and it's no, you have not stopped short of anything that you're doing in excellence. But what I want to do is get to the person who is Natalie Howse, and stay tuned. You're gonna fall out when you see this. Tell me about this picture.
Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. You
Who is
got
the
two
young lady?
you got two different photos up there. Oh
Yes.
my goodness. You
Tell us
are
about.
looking at an enthusiastic young girl on that photo, just excited for life and excited for everybody and everything. Then you got me and my dad in that jacket my father has on.
Yes.
That
And
jacket tells you what year it was.
right. And I do understand that
And
you
it wasn't 19, it wasn't 2026, I can tell you that right now. So
right. But what I do understand is that you are following a career in the path that he led as an
that's
attorney.
right.
So tell us
That's
about
right.
that journey, if you would.
For sure. So, yeah, thank you for lightening the mood there with those two old pictures. But yeah, so I am the daughter of the late attorney Nathaniel R. House Sr. And yeah, you put things in perspective for me. Yeah, my father was a leader for us in our family because he was the first person in my family to go to law school and to pave that way for us and into politics and so he really was a strong influence on both me and my brothers for us to strive and to do our best and to do to be the best that we can be. And I'm the daughter of Eva House as well, and so both of my parents, really truly had a tremendous impact on my upbringing and my career path. I will say this just as a personal matter. Both of my parents are from the South. My father's from Tennessee, my mother's from Alabama. They came to this area, they left their family, their friends to come to this area to seek better opportunities for
Mhm.
themselves. And of course, I mean, both of my parents, grew up in the segregated South. And well, my mom grew up not as long as my father did, but they both experienced, the segregated South, and there were so many limitations for African Americans in those days at the time that they were growing up that they really didn't see a path forward for success for them, but they did see it, in this area in the North. So they came here to the North. And of course, coming to Chicago presents its a different set of challenges, right? I mean, it's like, I mean, the South and the North today, to this day, are still different in terms of how do you say just regional differences. I would just say that, for one thing, we say things like pop, they say soda, it's just some very simple things. And so and back when my parents came up here, I mean, it was much, it was much different, much different in terms of what they had experienced. And so, both of my parents are very hardworking, very smart people, extremely disciplined people. But even with all of those attributes and all of those qualities, one of the things that they impressed upon me was the fact that It was their community, it was their family, they were friends, and it was just people that just did not know them, right? That
Mhm.
were able to help them. And so that was always impressed upon me. You know, my parents, first of all, I mean, they were both big proponents of getting an education. That was first and foremost. But then once you get that education, what are you going to do to help other people? Because we cannot do this alone. We are not silos. We have to help each other. You have to help um, your fellow brother and sister in order to be able to in order for the community to survive, and also just on a personal level, just to be able to help out. So we got to help each other. So they've always been big proponents of that. In fact, being able to help someone, I think they put more emphasis on that after I got my education than they did on anything else. That's the most important thing. That is primary, that is key. Be out in your community, be active in your community. Both of my parents were very active in their communities. My father was involved in several different ward organizations here in the city of Chicago. The ones that I can remember offhand that he was active in with me growing up was in the third ward and the ninth ward. The 24th ward, those wards, helping people out. I mean, a lot of people would get in trouble, criminal related matters. My dad would be ones to help them get out of jail. And so that really truly had an impression upon me. So I think that's what truly guided my career path. I've never been one to seek, to go the corporate route. Many people go the corporate route, and that I think that's really fantastic. I have a lot of friends that work in that space, and and I say the corporate route. What I mean is, people that make lots of money. They,
Yeah.
right, and you can do that still and still help your community, but that has never been that's never that was not my path, right? I've
Right.
always just wanted to have much more of a direct impact because the folks from the work in these large corporations, large law firms, they can write the checks. Okay, so don't
Mhm.
money is important. Let's not. I'm not saying that.
But let's be clear.
Right, let's just be clear. Let's be clear. And so, but that just wasn't my part. What was really kind of, like I said, I mean, you heard me talk about my parents and how, just helping and trying to make things better for us. So, I've always wanted to have a direct, I wanted to have direct control over that. And so, I graduated from Howard University School of Law. I'm HBCU grad, as well as my father. My father did go to Tennessee State University. I think it was actually Tennessee A&I when he was there, but he graduated from Tennessee State. Both of us are HBCU grads, and after I graduated from Howard, while I was at Howard, I took a course, criminal procedure, advanced criminal procedure. So that was an elective course in law school, and so we were talking about criminal law and criminal justice, criminal reform. Those were the big topics in that course, and it was taught by Judge Alexander Williams, who at the
Mhm.
time was a federal judge in the District of Maryland, but prior to his appointment to the federal bench, he was the elected state's attorney of Prince George's County, Maryland, which is a suburb of the Washington D.C. area.
Mhm.
And as the elected state's attorney, which is the same position really as our Cook County state's attorney, right? Um, but in his position as state's attorney, he said, he did it because he wanted to impact the criminal justice system. And one of the things that he expressed to us or taught us was that, um, the state's attorney is the one that sets the tone for the criminal justice system, right? The state's attorney decides who gets prosecuted, what gets prosecuted, and pretty much how it gets disposed of, how cases gets disposed of. So when we say who gets prosecuted, what do we mean by that? Well, the police, they bring cases to the state's attorneys are just lawyers, right? They're lawyers that go to court and advocate on behalf of um, on behalf of the state. But who brings those state's attorneys their cases? Well, it's the police officers, the police departments, the local municipalities. Sometimes it's the sheriff. Sometimes it's another state agency or the Illinois State Police. But it's the police that really bring the cases to the state's attorneys. And so, as the Prince George's County State's Attorney, he was getting cases from the Maryland State Troopers. And they were getting a lot of cases from the Maryland State Troopers. The state troopers, just like here in Illinois, were responsible for manning the interstates. And the major interstate outside of Washington, D.C. is I-95.
Mhm.
And as while he was state's attorney, he was, and that was this. I guess this is in the '90s. Back when the war on drugs was '80s and '90s, when the war on drugs was really kind of at its peak, and they were getting a lot of cases where African Americans were being pulled over, African, and then and they were being pulled over for the offense of being black, and then also having Florida tags on their plates. Right, so those are the major things. And so Professor Williams, Judge Williams, State's Attorney Williams, noticed that, and he and his first deputy, they decided they weren't going to be taking those cases anymore. Right? They developed a policy. If that was the pretext for stopping the person, they were not going to be taking those cases. And what is the impact on that? What impact did that have on the community? Well, that decision, that executive decision, that executive policy, it's a policy, it's not a law, it was his policy, was that impact on the police was that the police stopped stopping people, because if the chief law enforcement officer is not going to take the case, then why are they stopping people? They're stopping people for
Mm,
no reason whatsoever, right? So that was the impact. And I was like, I heard this story. I was like, wow, this is that's really quite powerful, because like I said, I grew up here in Chicago, on the south side of Chicago, and my only I guess understanding of the state's attorney's office was just that, that's the other side. That is the other side. We can't
right.
touch that. We can only be on the outside. But when I was at Howard, they were like, no, you could be on the inside, and you should be on the inside, because you kind of need to be there to kind of, you're not going to be setting any policy, but just your presence there is
Yes.
really going to change the way things happen. And that is in fact my experience when I went to the state's attorney's office. So I went there, and I worked there for about 18 years. And like I said, when a black person is in the room, the conversation changes, right? And then also
Thank you.
the options that become available for a particular case, for one case, can also be applied to another case, right? So I'll just give you an example. When I was working in juvenile court, I was assigned to the most, I guess, what was called Calendar 62 call, which was the detention call, which is the call that handled the most violent and dangerous juveniles in our system. So we had some juveniles there that were charged with offenses like murder and rape, those types of things. And so one of the things, and also the thing about that too, is that juvenile court was a county-wide position. So it was like, so I got to see cases that were handled in Schaumburg, and so kind of saw how cases were handled in Inglewood. And I liked how the cases were handled in Schaumburg. I was like, okay, this is nice. We have some programs, diversion programs that we can send to young people to, so that even when they're charged with class X offenses, they get a second chance. They don't have to be brought into court. So why can't we do this with children from Inglewood, Markham, other areas of Cook County? So, and that was one of the experiences that happened to me while I was there. It was like, okay, well, I'm in charge of these cases. Um, why can't we do? I had a case like that. In fact, I'll tell you. It was one. It was a class X offense.
Mhm.
We diverted this kid who was from the suburbs, but then when there was a little black kid that came through charged with the same offense, similar offense, the police officers wanted to charge. They wanted him to go directly to court.
Mm,
Do not pass go straight to court. Well, I said, well, on this other case over here, we were able to do a diversion program. Why can't we do that here? And luckily my supervisor also saw that, and I showed her the case. I said, why can't we do that here? And that child was also being able to be diverted as a result of that. So that's
that's
what I'm yeah, so that's what I mean, by us being in the room. We have to be in the room. We can't just be on the outside looking
yes.
in, playing defense. Then I think that is a fantastic way also to help people, because I've also done that type of work as well. But we
Mhm.
also have to be on the inside as well, making decisions and making sure things are handled appropriately.
Exactly. So let me ask you, that program that took place in Schaumburg, did you see the difference in the child that received the same services in Inglewood? Did he carry over? Was the program beneficial to him?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Right.
Okay.
Yeah, diversion program. Right. They're very beneficial. We really have got some really great social service providers out there.
Mm-hmm.
That's the great thing about being in Cook. We've got some really great service providers, but it's about it's about somebody being there and making that recommendation to
That's
get those
the point I
services.
want. That's the point I want. Being in the room and being able
Mm-hmm.
to represent the quality of care or the quality of service to that other person, that other young man. You may have
Exactly.
extended some great opportunity to him beyond that moment of just saying, "Hey, step up to say, hey, Schomburg,
Mm-hmm.
can we bring it to this young man and work on him and see a better outcome for him with the program?" So that's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing. Let me ask
Mm-hmm.
you this. So you have an extensive background and so diverse. I mean, you've worked with juveniles. I mean, you are AKA. You're also part of the BWLA, Black Women's Lawyers Association. I know a few of those ladies. And
Yeah.
tell us about those networks that you've been a part of. How have they impacted your campaign? And what's the vision for the partnerships that you're using for your campaign right now?
Well, I gotta tell you, the Black Women Lawyers Association of Greater Chicago is really, really an outstanding organization. It was founded, and I don't want to say the year because I don't know. I think it's like 1992, but it was founded in the 90s by some truly, truly dynamic women, women that I just admire and I look up to. One I give a shout out to is Judge Patricia Brown Holmes. Every time I talk to that woman, every time I talk to her, it's just like, I mean, it's just like the heavens open up. It's just a wealth of information now. And I mention this because she's always, she's someone that's always available, that she always answers her phone calls. And no matter how hard the question is, she's able to answer it. And
Mhm.
that is, and I bring her up as an example because that is, she's kind of representative of what Black Women Lawyers Association is for Black women lawyers. And so I worked with BWLA for several years. I was co-chair of their Government Services Committee, and we put together several programs. I was co-chair of the Services Committee for about 3 years. Each
Mhm.
year, we did a program called Road to the Road, where we talked about where we how to become a judge, right? So we got two different kinds of judges in Illinois, and we've got federal judges and we've got the state system and we've got the federal system. And to become a judge in the state court is different from becoming a judge in the federal system. The federal system, even it's an appointment process. I mean, it's quite fancy. You get appointed by the president of the United States. The
Mhm.
president of the United States, put your name, on before the Senate, and you go and get confirmed. But the question is how does the president of the United States get your name? How does he get Clara Hubbard out of the state of Illinois, right? So
Mhm.
that's a whole process, a whole system. It's a whole vetting before you even before you even go there. And
Mhm.
then, so we did one for that, becoming a federal judge. And then we also did, and there's also the magistrate judges in the federal system, and that's a similar process, but a little bit different. But then we also did two roads to the road on how to become a state court judge. And so here in Cook County, excuse me, here in the state of Illinois, we elect judges. It's not an appointment process. So there,
Okay.
you put your name on the ballot, get your name on the ballot, then you go out and campaign and you ask people to vote for you. But and then there's also the associate judge process, which was just also an appointment process, but different from the federal system in that you're not nominated by a chief judge. You're not nominated by the president of the United States. You're not nominated by the governor. You're appointed by the other judges of the circuit court. So, yeah, so there are so many different things, as when it comes down to becoming and either being elected or appointed judge. So I worked with BWLA on that for 3 years, and really quite an eye-opening experience and really a wonderful experience because, like I said, I met so many good people through BWLA, and I still keep in touch with them. Yeah.
Here's a I'm gonna put up your punch card and I want you to tell us what the descriptive title is of your job. What would be the duties of your position as judge? If you would explain this for us, our
Sure.
listening
Yeah,
audience.
so that's it. Punch 142. March 17th, 2026. Natalie Howse. Remember, Howse is in the house on March 17th, 2026. As a circuit court judge, the circuit court is the court of general jurisdiction. It is the first, we say the first level of the court system within the state of Illinois. So the circuit court judges hear a wide variety of cases. So, like I said, a court of general jurisdiction really means they do everything, right? So they do everything from traffic cases, probate cases, eviction matters. I guess they law division. I was trying to think of the common phrase, colloquial phrase for the law division, but that's like your personal injury cases. That's like your, you sue the hospital, oh, because the doctor did something wrong. And then of course there's also the criminal division, which I think most people kind of focus on when they think about judges. They think about, oh, well, I'm not going to jail. I'm not. Yeah, I've never been involved in any crimes or anything like that. So I don't really care about the judges, but judges really, the circuit court really has an impact on not just criminal, but all those other areas of your life. If you ever have a problem with your landlord, you're gonna have to go see a judge. If you don't have a landlord, you own your own home, and you have a problem with your mortgage company, you're gonna have to go see a judge. So judges and these elections, they matter. They're very important because we need to elect good judges. And particularly judges that represent our community, that understand our community's concerns, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Um, because it's not a one size fits all for each and every community, and our community is substantial and large, and so we need to have people on the bench that can represent our interests.
So, if you would, to our constituents and listening and viewing audience, how do we become, what's the word? I want to say comfortable with being in the courtroom. What is our duties? If,
Mm.
if you're our if you're our judge, what is our responsibility to use as the sitting judge?
That's a good question. It's a great question. I would say talk to someone before you go to court.
Mm-hmm.
I would say reach out to a community organization, or there are a lot of different organizations, and I'll just give a shout out to my organization, the Cook County Bar Foundation. Cook County Bar Foundation is the charitable arm of the Cook County Bar Association. What does that mean? Well, the Cook County Bar Foundation, we give out money, scholarships to people, but we also provide free legal services, free legal clinic for people throughout Cook County, but primarily on the south and west sides of Chicago. I'm the director of that legal clinic, and
Mm-hmm.
I would say to call and talk to someone, because people would, I think, watch these TV shows, and I'm dating myself, because young people don't watch Law and Order anymore. They watch things like Suits, and I don't even know any of the new shows, but um, they watch these shows, and you see people going to court. It's like, it is very scary. People get very intimidated because they
Mm-hmm.
think, well, what happened? But there are many programs out there that are looking to help and give people a second chance. So I would always tell people before you go to court to talk to somebody, use one of those resources. And the Cook County Bar Association Foundation, we have a website where our clinics and are featured on there. So, what was I going to say? Um, our next legal clinic is scheduled for February the 28th, 2026, and it's going to be at Trinity United Church of Christ,
Okay.
which is 400 West 95th Street. Now, our clinics, we do tend to focus on the criminal piece.
Mm-hmm.
We do the expungement and the sealing services for people, because that tends to be kind of popular right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because we are getting a lot of people that have misdemeanor convictions that cannot get jobs, because a lot of the jobs now that are available, like through Amazon and DoorDash and Uber Eats, require that you cannot have any kind of conviction on your record. You can't have felony or misdemeanor, because a lot of those jobs are require you to go to people's homes. Amazon is coming to your house. They're dropping stuff
Mm-hmm.
off. So the guy there,
Yes, ma'am.
they can't have anybody with any kind of history on their record. So we've been providing free legal services, expungement and sealing services to people that need it. So we partnered with the Westside Justice Center, which has really been a fantastic partner for us. And you come to the legal clinics, you don't need anything, you don't need any money. You can get fingerprinted. You can get your rap sheet, and they will do your paperwork for you to go into court to get the whatever it is on your rap sheet to get expunged and sealed, so
Mm-hmm.
you can go ahead and get a job that you need.
Absolutely.
So that's what we have been doing. But there are a lot of different services, and but it's like you have to really kind of talk to someone. And I say talk to somebody because I know that's easier said than done, because when you get hit with something and you get all that fancy paperwork, that legalese and everything on there, people get scared, like, oh my God,
Yes.
what should I do? But yeah, I would say always say call the Cook County Bars Foundation, but then I also say call Rainbow Push. Rainbow Push is a fantastic and excellent resource for people
Mhm.
to get the information that they need. I know Push has referred several calls over to me for people looking for resources, or looking for, not just to me, but to the Bar Association, that
Okay.
people that need resources when they do have a question about going to court. Because, when people go, like I know right after the pandemic, when we started meeting again in person,
Hmm.
we started doing the legal clinics. I think that was like in 2023. People, you did not realize, a lot of people were having problems with their landlord tenant issues, and people didn't realize, like, that, there are so many different resources before you even get there. So we
Yeah.
were able to help people, yeah, and point people to those resources, so that, that they weren't, facing eviction. There's certain, procedures and protocols that have to be met before the eviction, yeah, can go through.
I appreciate that. I will be looking to bring those to my website as a referral source. So we're getting close to the end of our program. Let me ask you this.
Hmm.
Give me three words that describe your advocacy in the community for your campaign. Three words that you use that empower you as you going out every day, going everywhere to the community for your campaign.
So it's my experience.
Hmm.
So I'm the most experienced person in my race. I have over 20 years of experience. I have not just criminal experience, but I also have civil law experience. And I've been working in the Circuit Court of Cook County for over 20 years. And then if you include my time when I was working for my father, it's more than that. So I'm ready to serve on day one. I'm comfortable in any courtroom setting, and I'll be happy and able to serve in any courtroom in circuit court. Two, community service. I think judges are community servants. They're public,
Hmm.
excuse me, not community service. Misspoke. Public servants.
Yes, ma'am.
Judges are public servants. That's why we were elected, right? We were
Hmm.
elected, and we have to answer to the public. Judges answer to the public every 6 years. So I've been a lifelong public servant. As I explained to you, it's my background, it's my parents' values that they instilled in me to try to help and try to make things better. So my commitment to as a public servant is over 20 years as well. Um, so community service and well, you said three, right? I know I
Three.
have my
Yes.
three now. I'm blanking out, right? Um, Community service, uh, experience, and I understand the
Uh,
impact, the understanding, the impact the circuit court has on our folks in the community. And
I'm going to help you out. Let me
mhm,
say, I saw in reading your information, I saw
mhm,
the word empathy.
empathy. Well, that's understand. Empathy
Yes,
is
ma'am.
good.
Gotta
Empathy
have
and
empathy.
understanding.
Yes, that's right.
It
That's
can be
right.
used interchangeably, right?
Yes, it can. It
S-
can.
So, right. And so, right, because I understand the impact the circuit court has on our community, right?
Yes,
It's not just, like I was saying, a lot of young lawyers are talking about just felony convictions, felony convictions, felony convictions. Well, no, misdemeanor convictions.
ma'am. Hmm.
Those are hurting people. We got to take the misdemeanor cases just as seriously as we do the felony cases. So, um, and my experience working in the community, my experience. I mean, people say that you can only get that understanding of how the circuit court impacts you just from working as a defense attorney. I mean, I find that I don't think that's fair assessment, because I remember being a prosecutor in juvenile court, and it was at that moment it struck me about how this system, how these felonies are really keeping our people from being re-entering into society. This
Yes,
mother,
ma'am.
I'll never forget her. She said, I can't. She she was the mother of a juvenile. The juvenile had a felony conviction. CHA did not want to let her son live with her because he had this felony conviction. She said, "What am I supposed to do?
Hmm.
What am I supposed to do? I cannot get housing now because of this felony conviction." That's that impact. And I understood what she meant by that, and I understood what she was saying with that. And so we have to kind of keep those things in mind when we are on the bench and when we are ruling. So that is what I bring to the table. Okay, I have the experience. I'm a public servant, and I have the empathy.
Empathy. That's right.
See,
So
empathy is fancy. It's
it
fancy.
is.
That's fancy, Miss Claire.
Yes, I understand. But you've been working it, and I think it's. I can really feel your sincere desire to have people understand. You're not speaking over the viewing and listening audience. So what we're doing, some of you are viewing this, and some of this are you are tuning in. When you get to the polls, you're gonna punch. What's your number again? Tell me your number.
142.
142. You can early vote right now after you hear this broadcast. And when she spells her last name is Howse.
That's right.
Howse. And it's House for Judge. Howse, the number 4 judge.com. That is the website. So before we go, I got one more question for you. What is your we didn't have time for it today, but what is your campaign song? What's that one thing to say, hey, that's my song when I get out here in the streets, when I'm pounding the pavement, when I'm doing the day to day? What's that campaign song that's in your heart? What
That
moves
gets me
you?
motivated.
Yeah, what gets you motivated?
Well, okay. Now you're getting kind of you getting real personal now, Clara.
Yeah.
So I'm a big Prince fan.
All
I
right.
am a big Prince fan. Prince really spoke to me. But he's got that song, "Baby I'm a Star." You put that
Yeah,
song on, you ready to do anything. You
I
know what
like
I
it.
mean? Like it's so motivating. That song
It
is
is.
great, and girl, and I love Prince, so that's my
It,
guy. So may he rest in peace as well.
yes,
He was
indeed.
truly a musical genius.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, but yeah, but
I
that
like
song
that.
is, yeah, you could.
Maybe I'm a star. Okay, I like
Hmm.
that.
You put that on. Put that on. You getting ready to cook something. You be like, okay, I can do it. You can do anything.
That's a good one. That's a good. I just have to ask people, what jogs you every morning to get you motivated, because it's
Yeah.
not an easy task out here, you know.
No.
And we're going to do something in Chicago that we haven't done in many years. We're going to get our numbers up. We want to have people at the polls, a lot of early votes, and when you go to vote, we want to make sure that we have a higher percentage of turnout that we've had
Right.
in previous years. We deserve in Chicago. And if you're watching the news of the world these days, you need to place your vote. I have a countdown calendar on our Senior Votes Matter page right now. I think as of today, we're 29 days away. So we're counting it and we get it done. March 17th is the day you need to be at the poll. You can go early now. You can go to Chicago Board of Elections, see where you need to go, put in your address. Please have a valid ID and all your information updated on that ID when you vote, because we don't need any challenges at the polls. Have you heard anything crazy happening just yet?
No, I haven't heard anything crazy but yet, but you just never know. So
That's right.
right, do it. You just
Prayerfully.
dot your I's and cross your T's.
Absolutely. Have no reason that your ballot cannot be placed. Take care of it now. Illinois Secretary of State, they're offering many opportunities, so let's get it done. And everybody that's been a part of this program, thank you so much. Natalie Howse, let me ask you this. Okay, why you want to run for judge? Now, you have done so much work as an attorney. Why you want to put on the jacket now
It's
and have a
time.
gavel? It's time.
It's time. It's
Time, huh?
time. It's time. We need more diversity on the bench. We need people with experience. We need people that understands our community. We need people on the bench. And the judiciary needs good people on the bench. And so I feel like I am that person, and it's just time. It's the time. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I appreciate you and thank you so much again. Everyone, you've been listening and tuning in to Attorney Natalie L. Howse, Howse, as she is running for judge. And her punch number is, tell them again, Natalie,
It's 142. Remember, House
142.
is in the house on
Howse is in
March
the house.
at 142.
142. You can find more information about her on Senior Talk Media / Senior Votes Matter. We're posting it on our social media page, Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram. Not Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. We're getting it done. Everyone, thank you for making us a part of your day. Don't forget, March 17th is your day to vote. Vote for Natalie L. Howse, judicial candidate, punch number 142. Everyone, thank you for enjoying it. Thank you for making us a part of your day again. And it's warm. We have no reason not to show up. Go out early, vote now. It's warm weather in Chicago, unseasonably warm. We can get out there now, not wait till March 17th. Do it now and find out where you're going. And we'd be glad to work with you. Again, everyone, this is Senior Talk with Claire Hubbard, also founder of Senior Votes Matter. And Natalie, I didn't ask you the final question of the day. I promise. Why do you think senior votes matter?
Every vote matter.
Yes.
Every vote matters, and it's particularly senior citizens, our senior seasoned, the seasoned saints, as we refer to them as my church, because they have interests that have to be protected as well. I mean, so if they want to make sure that their interests are protected, they have to have a good and strong judiciary that understands and appreciates their concerns and their issues, and I am that person.
Amen. I love it. So again, we're going to close out. Once again, you've heard and you're listening to attorney Natalie L. Howse, Howse. House is in the house. Let me tell you, don't forget to punch 142. And she's also a campaign candidate with us on Senior Votes Matter. God bless you all. Enjoy your day. Early vote, early vote, early vote. And we will see you next time for See You Talk with Clara Hubbard.
Okay, thank
God
you.
bless you. Thank you. My pleasure.